Alright guys, this is a bit of a how-to video here. Not that, like I've said many times before, this channel is not really about how-tos, but I got the old Honda Recon out. Gonna do an oil change on it just to make a video, and because I got nothing better to do today. And it's been sitting since the last time I rode it was in like March. I haven't ridden it since. I haven't done an oil change on it in over a year. Well, technically 2 years at this point, but since, before I rode it, I had only done the oil change like once in my ownership of it, and I've had this thing since I don't know, senior year of high school was it when I got it? I forget. But it's been a while, so I'll change the oil on it. I don't think it's that bad, but I just figured I'd make this video because this is probably one of the easiest oil changes you will ever do on probably any vehicle. So yeah, we'll fire it up. We'll get the engine oil a little bit warm, and yeah, then we'll go ahead and do it. Don't mind the absolute chaos and destruction that was getting this thing out. I threw the old seat out of my OBS in here with this thing, and it was a bitch getting it out, and then I ripped the door off because this shed's a fucking piece of shit. So, and now I can't get the door back on because it's a fucking piece of shit. So, anyway, here we go. And this thing's been sitting for a while, so it's probably gonna not want to start. Do this, you don't have to do this yourself. I just do this to make things a little bit easier for me, is I actually back this over the ramps and then get the front wheels on the ramps, because obviously the ramps are too long to fit in between the tires, and then I jack up the rear end just to get this a little bit more off the ground, give me a little bit more clearance working under here. I mean, you could totally, if as long as you're not like morbidly obese, you can totally just slide under there and do it, but like I said, this is just what's easier for me. You don't have to do it this way, but I figured I'd show it nonetheless. Alright. Now we will jack the ass end up. I don't know how good that skid plate is that I have on there, so I'm just going to jack it up on my trailer hitch, which I installed as an aftermarket item. And obviously you're going to want this to be level, the back end to be level with the front end, or at least I would imagine. I don't know, I never made it to physics in high school, so I wasn't good enough at math to even make it past geometry. Alright, that's good. Actually, the back end might be slightly higher than the front, but whatever. Just straighten the mount out here for the camera so I can hold it straight. Alright. So this is your oil dipstick tube slash filler tube slash whatever you want. Your oil drain cap or your oil fill cap is also your dipstick. I should probably get the creeper and also get this thing under there. All right, I don't remember what size it is off the top of my head, but I will find out for you, and I will tell you so that you don't have to guess like I am. Okay, I will join you in a moment underneath this thing. All right, so this is your oil drain plug under here. It's a little hard to see, it's kind of tucked into the frame. Obviously this is a, off-road vehicle, so, they're gonna have all the protection under here so you don't rip your oil pan off when you go over a big rock. So I'll find out what size that is in just a second here. All right, so it is a 17mm socket. I should get an extension actually, just because I give my fingers a little more clearance. Do I even have a short extension? Okay, I guess I don't have a short extension. I'll just use a long one. Oh well. All right, you don't need to go this crazy with your extension, but it is a 17mm socket. You could probably do it with without an extension. I just figured I'd save my knuckles from scraping against dirty, rusty metal. All right, time to, come on, turn. You know you wanna. If I'm even going the right way. I never get that right. Especially because this ratchet doesn't have, doesn't say which direction is on or off. There we go. Yep, wrong direction as per usual. All right, use the old fingers here. And that didn't even make it in the, okay. Well, successfully added some more oil stain to the floor of the garage. That's great. Yeah, that oil's quite black. Whoops. Well, if you're looking for an oil change interval cycle for your Honda Recon, don't do it, or do it more often than I do. And obviously that only takes a quick second to drain, because this only takes, well, according to Google, 1.6 quarts, but realistically it said you could put either 1.5 quarts, 1.5, or 1.7. So we're just gonna throw 1.5 quarts in here, because I don't feel like getting all specific with the measurements. So, and I also happen to have half a quart of oil and then a full quart of oil. So, a bit of a design flaw it's getting on the thing. Anyway, I will, and then you just, I would use a funnel. You probably could try and pour it in there from just the bottle, but it's kind of a weird angle, and just make sure you get all of the oil in there and nothing but oil in there and not anything else. So it's AMSOIL. This is AMSOIL 10W40. I got this from my my dealer, my lube dealer as I call him, my friend Nick, who also has a YouTube channel, which we may collab at some point. So be sure to look out for that. So he's an AMSOIL dealer. He can hook you up on all things lube. Just kidding, don't ask him what you're probably thinking right now. So yeah, I put the half quart in there already. Just gonna dump this in there. And yeah, that's it. Like I said, there's no filter. There is no oil filter on these things. They're too small for that. So, at least this one isn't. This is a 2003. So I don't know if they changed that, if Honda changed that later on, or what. But yeah. So that's pretty much how you do it. Obviously they're gonna start it up and make sure nothing's leaking, nothing's burning, nothing is gonna all of a sudden turn into a useless block of metal in a matter of seconds. So yeah, take that out. I'll have to clean that. And then this is your dipstick slash cap slash whatever. So you can just throw that in there. Yep, we're good. Perfect. So, get it off the jack right now. Boink. Alright, turn the fuel back on. This is, of course, a carbureted engine. I have a shirt that says carburetor, I barely know her. A little fun fact about me. And yeah, so take the e-brake off, turn it on. There's people walking their dogs behind me. Alright, get her off the ramps here. Just figure out how to hold the camera. That there. Come on. And you're a bitch. Alright, well this thing, you know, something else is going on with it as far as it just not liking to idle, especially when cold. I just kind of rolled her out to the garage and then pinned the throttle for like a minute, and now it seems to be okay. So, but nothing's leaking, I don't see any drips. Nothing's coming out of the exhaust but exhaust. So, yeah, that's how you do an oil change on a Honda Recon. Hope you guys enjoyed. Probably going to be selling this thing at some point soon, because I don't ride it anymore, but whatever. Like I said, you know, the only real issue with it is just doesn't like to idle when it's cold, that's it. So, but fresh oil change, it's got new brakes, lights all work just fine. Great on gas, this thing barely uses any gas. So, but yeah, hope you enjoyed, and I will see you all in the next one.